one station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, we're here with the Morning Crossfire, 99.3 Nigeria Info, Lagos. A very good morning to you. And of course, hoping you're having yourself a good day. Fuel or no fuel, 1,000 naira or no 1,000 naira, 855, 920, whatever it is you're buying at or not. We hope you're having yourself a good day. And of course, we cannot wait to hear from you as we engage in a conversation. Today, we look at the small matter of election violence, electoral violence, and its effect on the the most recent general election we had in Nigeria in 2023. We've had a study by some persons. They've gone out to do a report chronicling and detailing electoral violence and its effect on the 2023 general elections. I do not know if you encountered, you listening to me, you encountered any electoral violence. I'd like you to tell me what sort of electoral violence you encountered, where you encountered it, and what effect it had on that election. Did it affect your voting or not? Did it affect the result or not? And then what do we need to do on hindsight? This is 2024, 1 year plus. What are your thoughts on the events of 2023 general election, and what needs to be done to ensure that Nigerians can vote without fear of intimidation, victimization, without fear of attacks, of thuggery, of beatings, of shootings, of killings? What do we need to do to ensure that Nigerians do not have to encounter that again? Your thoughts are welcome on the numbers we usually advertise: 0201-277-0993. That's a major studio line, 0201-277-0993. And of course, we have a female line, 0201-465-7190, 0201-465-7190. We want to introduce our guest this morning, but also to remind you, you can reach us on WhatsApp. You can't call the WhatsApp for now because it will affect our conversation with our guests who's joining us via Zoom. So please just send in your messages only, not a voice note, not a phone call via WhatsApp, but just your WhatsApp message. We'll be very glad to read from you. All right, by way of introduction, our guest this morning is Kabir Yusuf. He's a senior investigative journalist at Premium Times, Nigeria. He has a diverse background in journalism, in research and in development. Kabir has authored more than 1,000 reports at the intersection of politics, education, health, migration, gender, human rights, anti-corruption, and matters of public spending. Kabir, that's a lot, you know. He's also developed deep knowledge in open contracting, procurement, public projects tracking, agriculture, energy, climate change, fact-checking, and data journalism. Now, prior to joining Premium Times, Kabir was at the Wale Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, where he was involved in MacArthur-funded development research on issues bordering on gender-based violence, energy, and the oil and gas sector. And Kabir joins us this morning on the Crossfire. Kabir, good morning to you. Good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
All right. Fantastic. So let's look at some of the report that you authored on electoral violence in Nigeria. And of course, you titled it Beyond the Facade, Unveiling the Violence in Nigeria's Peaceful Presidential Elections. And of course, this was a research conducted by CCIJ. So tell us about CCIJ and the data that they put together, and of course what led to this particular research and then the report that you authored.
Again, thank you so much for having me this morning. Last year after the Nigeria's presidential election, you see that after the election there was a lot of controversies in and out of Nigeria. And to be clear, a lot of African countries look up to Nigeria as a model in terms of democracy. Our democracy is no longer nascent; it's growing. This is 25 years of democracy, about 7 elections, and different transition of government. So after the presidential election, the electoral body, INEC, termed that election as peaceful, free, fair, and credible. And there was a question about the peaceful aspect of the election. How peaceful was the election? Now, it would be very and greatly unfair to voters and the citizens that experienced violence and they were disenfranchised as a result of that violence. And then you now say that the election was peaceful after maybe for one reason or the other, they've been denied access to their own civic rights. That is what we found, and that is why we decided to investigate what truly happened. What truly happened during that period.
Interesting. So this
And
yeah. Sorry, yeah, go on,
okay.
go on. Yeah, go.
I say, okay, that is what happened, and that's why we decided to investigate and to go deeper beyond what the electoral body is saying, beyond what the government is saying. We decided to go deeper to really investigate what really happened on election day. How were people able to exercise their votes, if at all they did, and if they didn't, what was their own story? Let them tell us their story, and that is why 10 months after the election, we're still investigating, going around the country to really find out what happened.
Okay, so this is a 10-month long investigation, research, let's call it that, by the Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism, with 20 journalists, including yourself, going around the country investigating incidents of brutality, in the 2023 elections. Why? I mean, the elections have come and gone. A winner was announced. We hear, that they say, and some people say, it's time for Nigerians to focus on governance. And then when it's election time, 2027, we can start talking about politics again. So why did you, along with 19 other journalists under, the banner of a Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism, go out to do this investigation, this research?
Yeah, like I said, we have to do this for the sake of our country. We have to do this for our democracy and for the sake of posterity. We're not doing it because of the time of election. We're doing it for posterity because we owe it to the public to investigate and give them the true account of what happened. And then you should also know that there are elections almost every year in Nigeria. This year, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have another election, off-cycle election in Edo State, the governorship election. After that, we're going to have the Ondo State governorship election, which is coming up in October. On the same account, last year there was also another election in November. And so the same thing, the findings of that report, it is our hope that INEC will use the findings of that report to improve in subsequent election. And by that, I mean that right from this September, we want to see that the gaps that we exposed in that report, we want to see INEC start addressing those gaps. We want to see security agencies improving on providing adequate security during the election period. We want to see the federal government stood up to say that, look, we have to defend our democracy. And by defending our democracy, we have to ensure that our elections are free of violence. We have to ensure that our elections are free, fair, credible, so that other countries can follow can follow the steps of Nigeria. Like I said when I started, Nigeria is now a model of democracy in Africa.
All right. So when you hear Kabir, I know you're a journalist, not a politician, but when you hear stuff like politics is over, elections are over, it's time for governance. it's time to move on. What do you think? What do you think about that? How will you respond when you hear things like that in relation to bringing up things like this again? Or there was violence in the election, and all that.
Yeah, like I said, the issue here is if you don't address these things and you think once elections are over, then they are over. In that story, if you read the story, you will see that we found a woman who lost her husband due to election violence. We have seen people that have sustained injuries, lifetime injuries. Maybe they have to live with these injuries forever. Now, these are people that will eventually maybe lost hope in our democracy, and they may not be able to go out again to vote. And once people lost that hope, they stop going out to vote, then there is a problem because people will stop participating in election. Already, Nigeria has problem with electoral turnout. If you look at it from 1999 to date, from 2003 to date, data shows that electoral participation in Nigeria is always going down. So it's been constantly, decreasing, and that's alarming. When people stop going out to participate in election, then I fear that our democracy is dying.
All right. When people stop participating in elections, our democracy is dying. One of the first article I read based on this report, it reminded us that INEC did say that voting was not marred by intimidation, but you found otherwise. So let's go to your key findings. Just brief us of your key findings. What did this 10-month-long investigation find?
Okay. Now, this report centrally, by the way, CCIG has published an initial report on disinformation, how Nigerian politicians, spoiled the public with different types of disinformation during the electoral period. Now, our own report that we published some weeks ago is to show the public that, look, there were series of suppression and intimidation. People were not allowed to participate in the election freely. For instance, in terms of intimidation, we found out that INEC has played a role in suppressing the voices of the people. There are a lot of people that were not able to access their voting card. Even till date, as I speak with you, I was in Kogi State on ground in Ayimba and different parts of Kogi State. To speak with people that told me that, look, INEC did not give them their voters card. In fact, a politician went to collect their voters card on behalf of them. And up to now, they did not get this voters card. Now, that is a way of suppressing people's voice because you are handling their own right to another person. And up to now, they don't have access to their voters card. And then there were widespread violence in these places. Talks refused to allow people to participate. This happened in Lagos, this happened in Kano, this happened in River State, Port Harcourt. There are a lot of instances where people told us that, look, we need to be safe. We need to protect our lives before we can participate in this election. And when people are threatening us that we cannot vote or we have to vote for their candidate, then it's safe that we, go back to our houses than to participate and endanger our lives. Another aspect of intimidation that we found is that the excessive presence of security, the police, the army, in some locations. In Kogi State, for example, a lot of ladies were not able to participate in that election because of the heavy security, because they felt intimidated. This is an election. People should be allowed to vote. But when you make it look like a war or a war zone, then it becomes very difficult for people to participate. And people felt intimidated. They were not able to vote. So these are the findings of the report and the type of, intimidation that we were able to uncover.
All right, these are some very deep findings and claims that INEC actively suppressed votes or voters participated in voter suppression by denying voters of their voter cards. And you also saying that police or security presence also served as intimidation for voters. Maybe when we come back, I want more of your findings, especially cases of actual violence, head-on violence that disenfranchise Nigerians. When we come back from a commercial break, I want to give me instances, some of the places you went to, some of the information you found that you think Nigerians should hear about, the case studies and all that. For those listening, we're talking about electoral violence in Nigeria, a study by CCIJ, which is the Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism, conducted over 10 months after 2023 elections. It took 10 months to conduct those investigations, and they collaborated with 20 journalists, including Kabir, Yusuf, our guest this morning. They came out with a report. He's told us a bit about the report of not just electoral violence, but also of voter intimidation. Now, if you want to say something about this, or you have some experience being a voter out there, intimidated, or being a victim of electoral violence, please feel free to call in when we come back from our commercial break, or you can send your messages and we'd like to hear from you right here on the Morning Crossfire. But you can go to the website of CCIJ, it's on there, or you can check out Premium Times to read Kabir's article. Just Google, excuse me, Investigation Beyond the Facade, unveiling the violence in Nigeria's peaceful presidential elections, is on Premium Times, and you can read it. We'll be right back.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
They care about my mental health, fitness and healthcare. Good nutrition, healthy living means a lot to them. That's why I chill with peace of mind. No worries anytime. Cause when I look back, I know AXA Mansard's got my back, yeah. So what are you waiting for? Sign up and join the squad.
Enjoy more wellness for less with AXA Mansard. Individual, family, or corporate health plans. Visit www.axamansard.com or call 0700 AXA Mansard to get started now.
Yes?
You're cooking again?
My sister, you know I like to keep my family happy.
So you use Tasty Tom?
Of course.
This stew is so red and thick.
Tasty Tom tomato mix enriches my meals with an appealing and appetizing red color.
So Tasty Tom is this red and thick?
Yes, oh.
It's also tasty.
Can we have more, please?
I am going to get my own Tasty Tom tomato mix. My family deserves to be happy too.
Yes, sir. With Tasty Tom tomato mix, you can give your family more of meals that make them happy. It's thick, tasty, and enriches your meals with an appealing red color. It's enriched with vitamins and fiber that are good for the body. Tasty Tom for tasty meals.
Imagine thinking you bought an unlimited data plan, but the next thing we hear is,
oh, this data has finished again.
Well, that's what happens when you don't buy a truly unlimited data plan.
Enjoy truly unlimited data with unlimited speed-based data plans from Airtel. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to buy now. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Tired of network issues disrupting your business transactions? Say hello to Embassy Card, the payment solution for both customers and merchants.
As a customer, I can use Embassy Cards for personal and business transactions, even without network or data. No network, no problems.
And as a merchant, I can accept payments on my phone anytime, anywhere, without the need for expensive POS terminals. Plus, I earn commission for every card top-up and cash withdrawal, like a POS agent.
Embassy Card offers contactless payments, secure transactions, and free fund transfers between cards, and available in light, green, and gold cards. Visit www.embassycard.com to get started and download the app on Play Store and Apple Store. Embassy Card, opening up your world.
Well man and well woman.
Are you tired and run down? Well Man and Well Woman from Vitabiotics UK provide your one-a-day capsules with all the benefits for healthy living.
Well Man has been specially developed for men to maintain general health and vitality.
Well Woman is a blend of minerals and vitamins at optimal levels, specifically designed for busy modern women.
Make a healthy change today with Well Man and Well Woman. Available in all good pharmacies nationwide.
Health and vitality.
Yo, it's time to switch up your streaming and social media experiences. Introducing the Glow My G bundle, the first all-in-one social and music bundle. It's the perfect bundle for texting, snapping, streaming, sharing, vibing, and everything you love doing online. With My G bundle, you get the data deals for Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Boomplay, Audiomack, and Glow TV, all in one bundle. Now you can make every naira count with affordable all-in-one data bundles with Glow My G. Get 1 gigabyte for 300 naira, 1.5 gigabytes for 500 naira, and 3.5 gigabytes for 1,000 naira on the Glow My G bundle. Plus, you also get 1 hour of free browsing on your favorite apps. That's Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Boomplay, Audiomack, and Glow TV. Dial *312# to start making every naira count with the Glow My G bundle. T's and C's apply.
Glow Unlimited.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Crema.
Where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Crema.
If not tea, or garita.
Kivo Crema. Kivo Crema.
Eater of trading himself. James, hello.
Susan, I beg. Say you wine me.
For where? You who no longer depend solely on your salary.
You people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby.
Jerry, now you they talk like this. Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution of my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I don't know.
Guy, HFM.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer service.
Guys, I said HFM.com.
Which one is HFM.com again?
Switch to HFM today to enjoy ultra-fast execution, 1 to 2,000 leverage, tight spreads, swap-free, and more.
Guy, show us the way now.
Wait, are you sure deposits and withdrawals are sharp?
I said HFM.com. Visit www.hfm.com. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Hey there. Sharing is caring, and sharing your phone's hotspot is a great way to help a friend in need. But wait, are you keeping your data safe? Here are smart tips to control your data while sharing your hotspot. Lock down your hotspot with a strong password to ensure there are no data party crashes. Also, remember to change your password frequently to avoid unauthorized use of your data. So, go on, share your connection with loved ones securely and still have plenty of data left. Visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng to learn more. This message is brought to you by the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators and the Nigerian Communications Commission.
The Battle of the Minds returns this November. Brace yourselves for the most intense intellectual face-off of the year. I Beg to Differ is back with Season 8. And this time, the stakes have never been higher. This November, Nigeria's sharpest young debaters will converge on Nigeria Info Studios, armed with nothing but their words, wit, and real power.
That's the power of peer pressure, and it's a force we all reckon with as teenagers.
When the government has access to our personal data, it can be abused.
With the nation listening, these students will tackle controversial topics.
Relate with the laid down rules and principles of society. The opposition team comes up here accusing censorship of violating free speech.
Challenge the status quo and defend their positions with relentless passion.
Like you said, it leads to only immediate relief and not long-term relief, which is why we say bring up censorship, and then we are here to protect the masses.
And yet, this is considered productive enough to feed 120 million Nigerians. I beg to differ.
Lagos, are you ready for I Beg to Differ Season 8? For sponsorship, please call Lamre 0706 827 1163 or Shola on 0907 173 3835. I beg to differ. A tournament of champions. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Lagos, welcome back, Nigeria and the rest of the world, wherever you're listening to us from. It's still the Morning Crossfire right here, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are joined by a journalist with Premium Times. Of course, he's been part of an investigative report published by the Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism, and of course, chronicling incidents of electoral violence in Nigeria that marked the 2023 general elections. His name is Kabir Yusuf. He is a journalist with Premium Times, one of Nigeria's foremost newspapers or investigative publications right here in Nigeria. Kabir Yusuf is a senior investigative journalist at Premium Times, Nigeria, with a diverse background in journalism research and development. He has authored more than 1,000 reports at the intersection of politics, education, health, migration, gender, human rights, anti-corruption, and matters of public spending. We're glad to have Kabir on the program. The Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism, we told, took about 10 months to compile all the information and data across the length and breadth of Nigeria, chronicling incidents of electoral violence that marked the 2023 elections and disenfranchised Nigerians from voting. The article is called Beyond the Facade, Unveiling the Violence in Nigeria's Peaceful Presidential Elections. That's the report. And you have an article on Premium Times by Kabir Yusuf, and another one authored on Visa by Olajide Adelana, Kabir Yusuf, Yakin Akinwale, and Ekemini Simon. CCIJ worked with about 20 journalists. I hope I'm correct with that information, Kabir. 20 of you? All right. Oh, fantastic. And all right. And I've been looking at the map of incidents of cancelled votes or voting in different parts of the country. Locations and reasons why votes were not counted in different parts of the country. A process called cancellation, as you put it in your report. And some of the reasons that you were able to find out or gather, you had violence and insecurity. Some of the places where voter election was suspended or cancelled altogether. The reasons were unexplained. You had things like overvoting, lack of staff, lack of electoral materials, and others. It's quite interesting to see. But the map I'm looking at from CCIJ, from your report, it seems like electoral violence is the highest, followed by overvoting. And it therefore shows that electoral violence is the biggest factor when it comes to disenfranchising Nigerians of their vote. Kabir, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Like I told you the other time, this report that we published is more of investigating what truly happened in terms of voter suppression and intimidation. In what ways people feel like they were suppressed, and that's why we gave several reasons. And one of it, we say that it's electoral violence, and then other reasons were not even explained by the people, but they know that they were not able to participate in that election because it could be personal reason, it could be family, it could be any other reason. While there is also insecurity, you all know that before the election, there were concerns around security, especially in not just specific part of the country, but in most part of the country, there's still concern about security, and that's that's another aspect of it that suppressed people's voices. And what we find is that this category or how people were affected in that election, the most people that were affected is people of Imo State. Those are the ones that have the highest number of voting cancellation and this issue of intimidation and as well as suppression. Followed by Imo State, we have Edo State, we have Sokoto, we have Lagos, and then we have Delta State. These are the top 5 states that are most affected.
Okay, so the states with the highest level of cancelled votes, or let me say discontinued voting, or vote
violence or insecurity,
okay,
or
due to violence or insecurity, specifically. Okay, number 1 is Imo on top, followed by which state?
Followed by Edo State, Sokoto State, Lagos, and Delta. These are the top 5.
All right. Imo State, Sokoto State, Edo State, Lagos State, Delta State. One would have thought that we'll have maybe more of the cancellations, maybe in the northeast or northwest, places that are ravaged by terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and the ongoing war with Boko Haram. So what did you find put Imo State on as a reason that Imo State was on top?
Violence and insecurity.
All right. Was it caused by probably the fact that you had, two, very strong political parties in Imo State, or the rise of Labour Party as a third force may have also, spiked the political tension over there?
It could be, perhaps. I'm not sure, but then I can tell you for a fact that before the election, there was fear, there was tension in the southeastern part of Nigeria as a result of the state, the sit-at-home order by IPOB. They were imposing that sit-at-home order, and Imo is the most affected by that sit-at-home order. And as a result of that sit-at-home order, even when they lifted that order, people were still agitated. People were still in tension to go out to vote, and that suppressed their balloting.
All right. In what forms did the electoral violence in Imo State take? Was it a shooting? Was it voters being chased away, or what? Did we have a known gunman coming out to say there will be no voting in? Because I remember at some point some of these groups were saying there will be no voting in the southeast, if you remember. So, in what form did the violence take in Imo State?
When we see violence and the places that we visited in these states, we spoke to people, and then we also relied on reports from civil society organizations. And when they say that there was violence, it could be any form of violence. It could be that maybe people just stand on a queue on the voting day and somebody's come to scare them with machete and maybe sword or any other thing. It could be shooting. It could be maybe just two fighting. So it could be any form of violence, really.
Lagos is
that's why I just put it, violence.
All right.
Yeah.
Lagos is is always a first a priority right here on Nigeria for Lagos. So you saying Lagos State Center of Excellence was part of is among the top 5 states with electoral violence in the 2023 elections. Some will find that hard to believe, while some will find that very easy to believe. Tell us a bit more about what you found out in Lagos State as far as electoral violence was concerned in 2023. Kabir.
Okay, so here's the concern. Like you said, Lagos, highly cosmopolitan, diverse people from all parts of the country. Now it's
all right. The network has been interrupted. We've lost Kabir. I remember we interviewed, I think it was Mariano Millicent or some person interviewing my good friend Samuel Wanosike, who was a former local government chairman. He says it still is. Depending on which side you stand, in River State, local government chairman, actively speaking for Yusuf, the governor at the time. And we asked him, why is the River State budget not online? And he said, if it's online, it could be hacked. It could be hacked. That's why it's not online. So I don't know if Kabir Yusuf has been hacked by the network. Kabir, I hope you are not hacked, but he's back with us. Good to have you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
I wasn't. So I had a network disconnection.
Yes, obviously. So go ahead. You were talking about Lagos State and your findings as far as electoral violence is concerned. So go on, please.
Okay, so ahead of the election, there were several reports by civil society organizations that put Lagos State among the red zones. That these are some of the states that could be affected by violence during the election, and of course that was what happened. In Surulere, in is it Ali Motion, or these are some of the local governments that we found out that during the election and on the day of the election, several people were affected by violence, and the violence that we saw was maybe as a result of the tension or the kind of I won't call it. Let me say the turnout. The turnout was massive because Lagos State has the highest number of voters in Nigeria, and the turnout was massive. And then it was not just a turnout of one party; it was a turnout of at least three parties. Three of the parties performed very well in Lagos, both the APC, Labour Party, and the PDP. Eventually, it was a struggle between the Labour Party and the APC, and so of course that participation and of two different parties competing to get the largest state in the country, that was what happened. And there was violence, there was arrests. Police say that they've arrested several people. We asked them several questions. What is the state of their investigation? Were they able to prosecute these people who caused the violence? And who were the perpetrators of this violence? Was it politicians? Was it talks? Or who are these perpetrators of the violence? They didn't give us any details.
All right, interesting. But what role did social media play in helping you understand who the perpetrators of electoral violence were in 2023? Because in some states, I'm so happy you didn't mention River State has been. Did you mention River State has been in top 5? If you didn't, then I'm pleasantly surprised, but pleasantly, I'm also happy as well. But social media, yeah, go on.
River State is not even among the top 10, actually.
Oh wow, wonder shall never end. Rivers, oh yeah! You see, we say it's not rivers of blood; it's rivers of peace and harmony. That's fantastic, because we saw some things on social media. We're afraid that maybe part of the top 5, but River State is not amongst the top 10. So quite interesting. Is there a reason for this? Because you're basing your report on cancelled votes or voting in the polling units that had their voting cancelled. If it happens, or it's possible that some polling units rather there was no voting there, in reality, but on paper, votes were produced for that place, then it means that it's a missing link that you can't help. What do you say to that?
What we can do is to develop ability to go out there to see what we can find, and whatever we can get, we have to base it on facts and evidence. We cannot speculate. We are a media platform, and we have to be credible. And even when people are making claims, that suggests that, look, this is what truly happened, and we have to tell them, okay, if I agree with you, I owe it to my readers and my listeners that, look, I have to present evidence. And if tomorrow INEC is saying that this is what happened because they are the final boss, and we're not able to get the evidence to counter what is the truly situation on ground, then we have to just let it slide. So we had to rely on evidence, not speculation.
So what you're saying is that it's possible there are places that you saw results were produced for those places. So you can't count those places as places that voting didn't happen because of electoral violence or overvoting or some undisclosed reasons. So you're basically looking at only those places where INEC recorded there was no result here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if you talk to some people, and they say, oh, well, yes, indeed, you might have your facts by using INEC's result in my place. We didn't vote. A result came out for my polling unit, but we didn't vote. We're chased away by thugs. Some cultists came with bottles and chased us away. And we don't know these results that we're seeing on the INEC portal. What can you do about that? Are you going to say, well, since because INEC put a result there, we can't take your testimony, we can't put it in our report?
Okay, the INEC is the electoral body in Nigeria, and INEC is the only body that can produce results. So we can only rely on the results produced by INEC. But notwithstanding, these are genuine concerns that you raised. If there are no elections, and this is what INEC should, should stood up and make sure that it addressed these problems.
But Karen, not to water down the work that CCIG has done. You have done brilliant work. I've looked at it since it was sent to me by Sheriff. But maybe you need to go a step further by coming out to do maybe another report maybe in the future to say, yes, you publish results for Rumaholo polling unit 1 in Obiapo local government area, that the result took donkey years to come out. Or you publish a result for Port Harcourt local government area, that the result took how many years to come out. The local government chairman came to INEC, the coalition center was sweating, panicking. But the people we re-interviewed, we have evidence or testimony to show that they didn't vote. And this result that you put out there, they're denying it. It's not possible. You do that investigation. Bring out what INEC is not saying. Just like your report says, INEC denied that there was electoral violence and said voting was peaceful and orderly. But you countered it, you said, no, it's not true. So can't you also counter some of these reports or results where people you interview say we did not vote?
Okay, the thing is, in terms of election, you can rely on interviews with what people are going to tell you. But not in all cases, you can fully produce an investigation based on interview. I sincerely agree with you. These are genuine concerns, and we have to continue to find ways to do these investigations and to see how we can change the narrative. But the issue here is, for instance, what we can rely on, we can only rely on facts and evidence. If INEC, again, is the only body...
What about the evidence on the IREV that the entire country saw? I mean, the results were uploaded, and then something else was... I mean, the IREV was there. We all looked at it. Inexplicable.
We've published an investigation on that. You didn't see. Premium Times did an investigation last year to say that, look, INEC produced a result, a River State, and what truly happened or what IREF result shows is contrary to that. And we exposed that there was a conflicting figures. What we saw on IREF after several days of data collection, data sorting, we found out that the result on IREF is not the same with the result that was announced by INEC, and we published that.
All right, I've been accused of.
I've been accused. Yeah, we did that. Maybe you didn't read the report.
All right, fantastic. I've been accused of demarketing my darling River State before, but hey, I am sure that the real Rivers people know that this is just trying to do a good job. River State is peaceful. Lagos State is peaceful. In fact, the entire Nigeria is peaceful. But of course, we must do our job, which is to ask the hard questions. Kabir, thank you very much for your time. We have a lot of other questions to ask you, but I want to take some calls here before we're out of time. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kofi.
Welcome. What's your name, please?
Rotimi.
Rotimi, welcome. All right, welcome.
I just want to ask, we can't have 100% free and fair elections, even all over the world. But I want to ask your guest, malpractices in zone access, like he assessed some electoral district. Is this malpractices, does it limit to a particular party, or what is the access?
Thank you very much.
Concerning other parties, according to
fantastic.
All parties together now.
All right. Thank you very much. Because of time, you've taken the words out of my mouth. We're talking about violence, electoral violence, and voter intimidation, suppression. So limited to that. Kabir, the spectrum of the corporates, is it limited to one party or is it across multiple parties? Because the view is that there's always the ruling party in the state or at the federal level that sponsors thugs and all that. So tell us about what you found about that.
I must tell you that this thing is not about one party. It's not about any party. It could be, for instance, even in a state. What we found out that in a state, depending on location, depending on the stronghold of politicians who are in that location, that will determine what's the nature of violence and who are the perpetrators of the violence there. For instance, let me just break this down to you. If you have in one local government, for instance, here is Ikeja. In Ikeja, if Ikeja is a stronghold of APC, this is Lagos State. But if Ikeja is a stronghold of APC, you're likely to see maybe you're likely to see violence perpetrated perhaps by maybe people who have allegiance to that party in that local government. And at the same time, you can go to Surulere to see that is another party that's orchestrating violence. So what we find across the country is that violence is not limited to one single party. All the parties might be culprit or might be victims in one case or the other. And we're still not able to say that unless we're able to pin down a politically exposed person orchestrating violence, then we can be able to, openly say that this man was among the people sponsoring violence in so state or in so location. But what we find across the country, and based on this pattern that I told you, it could be as a result of stronghold. Where you are strong, that's where you are able to manipulate people. That's where you are able to, mobilize people to orchestrate violence.
All right. I want to thank the gentleman who asked that very important question. And Kabir, we're out of time. We have to go. Kabir Yusuf, senior investigative journalist with Premium Times. Thank you very much for your time on the program this morning, just giving us a reminder of what Nigerians face in the 2023 elections. And of course, your report. Fantastic job by CCIJ and you journalists. Thank you very much for your time.
I must thank you so much.
Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop? And is it to stop?
Sonia tomato mix in the news.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.